won't talk about it. Don't worry.
Welcome back and happy Monday, everyone. This is the FloTrack Podcast. FloTrack Podcast at gmail.com is the email address. I am Kevin. He is Gordon. If you want to use that email address, remember we're starting new segments. And Gordon, I want to say the reception's been good so far. People writing in, asking us to guess their PR. I haven't looked at any of them because I want to I want to play the game with fresh eyes. I want the game to work, but a lot of subject lines, PR or guess my PR. So I think we're going to do that one on Wednesday this week. We still need more submissions for internet coach. So just general, if you want Gordon's advice on anything track and field related, FloTrackPodcast at gmail.com. Also, we got some custom codes that we're going to throw up as well. But it's gone well so far, Gordon.
Yes, it's gone well. And welcome, new YouTube member, James Ladd. It's joined Gordon's team, Gordon's Goons. I appreciate that, James. Big shout out to you. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel, maybe even become a member like James Ladd. We appreciate y'all. But this podcast today, there's a lot of stuff that happened. On a weekend where there wasn't a lot of college action, because everyone's getting ready for conferences. Next weekend, I feel like our rundown is overwhelming. It's going to be a long pod.
Yeah, and we're bringing back Kick of the Week. We're going to do Kick of the Week segment, and then we're going to do a If This Was Track segment about the Kentucky Derby, which I'm very excited about, trotting that out. Those of you who watched the old version of the show, like pre-pandemic, even more, like way before pandemic, it was like 2019. Lincoln and I would mess around and do that segment, and I want to bring it back. Do we have custom text things that we want to put up before we go about how people can reach out if they want to participate in the guess my PR or internet coach segment? Do we have those, Colt? Okay, they're up. Awesome. There they are. So you can text coach if you're watching on YouTube. What's that number, Gordon? Read it. Pretend I can't see that because it's too small on my screen.
I can't see it because it's too small on my screen. Is it like a 3?
Colt, step in.
The number, folks, that is 31032. Text coach or PR to 31032.
Yeah, I can't read that because I'm going blind.
Or PR. Those are the two things. Or you can email or just leave a YouTube comment. Travis will find it, or Colt will find it. Gordon will find it. I'll find it. Let's start with the 100, specifically men's 100, and then we'll go to women's 100. There was a lot of news in the men's 100 over the weekend at the Nairobi Continental Tour. Ferdinand Omanyala goes 9.85, beats Fred Curley. Marcel Jacobs not in this race. He had health issues, had to go to the hospital, but Omanyala gets the win. His home track, big result for him. Remember, he ran 9.7 on this track last year, losing to Trayvon Bromell. This time gets the victory. Just an insane start, first of all, Gordon. Did you see him get out of the blocks?
I mean, when you say insane start, do you say potentially a false start?
He was right on. He was right on. I don't know. Let's watch it again
this.
Here. Let's see.
We're showing it in full screen mode now. Watching it. I don't know. Do we have a Terrence Jones situation here? Do we?
Got to look at the reaction time of the gun.
I know all Kenyan fans out there are going to say I'm just being biased because an American lost, but I don't know. It was a very, very good start. It looked a little too good to be true, but hey, he still runs 9.85. He's still, Fred Curley had enough time to try to catch him. Curley wasn't able to close. And Curley, we've been anointing as the guy to beat based on the way he's been running all year long. And the fact that Omanyala just kind of smoked him in a way. I mean, let's be honest. This wasn't a Jacobs Coleman 60-meter dash 1/1000th of a second lean. This is a good beatdown. Obviously, Omanyala is in Kenya. Curley is flying 8 hours to get there. So, there's a little bit of an advantage there. But it's what it did for me. It wasn't about saying, oh, Curley is showing weakness. I think it showed that we now need to put Omanyala in the conversation. with the Jacobs, with the Colemans, with the DeGrasses, in order to we had to add another guy to the list, basically.
Fred Curley posted this on Instagram after the race. War just started. Hashtag I am history. Hashtag get over here. You want to break down this? Wait, get over here. Is that a Mortal Kombat reference?
That's Scorpion.
That's from Mortal Kombat, though, right?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. All right. What do you think of the Scorpion reference this early in the season, Gordon?
I don't know who Scorpion is. I don't
remember
even
Mortal
know what it
Kombat?
means. Nah, I wasn't a Mortal Kombat guy.
Oh, Colt, you want to break this down
video
for
game.
us? This is your moment, Colt.
He's got guys. He's got a flaming skull head, much like Ghost Rider. It's very cool. He's got a chain with a spike that comes out of his hand. He throws it into people and yells, "Get over here." That's what the reference is.
So why didn't he use this thing and throw it at Omanyala when he was smoking him in the 100? Like, he had an opportunity to use the little fire star or whatever.
You got to be going towards each other.
Okay.
When you're running parallel, it's tough. Scorpion was never racing people in 100.
Gotcha.
I mean, I would have loved to have had Jacobs in this race, just as a kind of like bellwether, because you got, Omanyala, you're right, racing at home. He's familiar with the track. He made the semis last year in the Olympics, has run fast before. Curley has done well in the 4, the 2, the 1 this year. I would have liked one more person in there to key off of, just to get a sense of where these guys are at. But I guess it didn't surprise me that he lost. And the 9.8, given the altitude, that sort of time doesn't surprise me. I would still have, and I still have, Christian Coleman and Lamont Jacobs at the top in the men's 100. I have Jacobs 1 because of the 60. I know he had to go to the hospital, had intestinal issues. And then even though Coleman runs 10.0 in Japan, we can look at that race as well. I mean, different tracks, different setups, different situations. I think those are still my top 2 guys in the 100 coming out of this weekend. What does your top 2 or 3 look like?
I don't have a top 2 or 3.
Okay.
I'm going to take a different approach. I'm just going to abstain my vote right now. I'm going to abstain it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to play the fence. I will say, though, talk a little bit about Coleman. He runs 10.09 in Tokyo. Basically, he was just running by himself in Tokyo. Got on a jet airline to run with a bunch of Japanese sprinters and just be, hey, guys, I'm here to collect my appearance fee. And he runs 10.09. I think he did a prelim as well in like 10 teens. Mm-hmm. I was a little underwhelmed by it because obviously he didn't need to do much to win it. And clearly it's not like he's going up against a Bromell or a Curley or whoever. But with the way a lot of these athletes have been running and with the shoe technology and all this stuff, I kind of thought he would have ran at least like a 9.9. I was it kind of got me a little worried. I know maybe I shouldn't be worried.
Hold on. You just said you were on the fence and you weren't.
I'm on the fence. I could be worried on the fence. I'm always worried. When you're sitting on a fence, you're worried you're going to fall off the fence because it's a skinny fence and you have to hold on to it. So when I see the 10.09, it worries me a bit. And I just think that, I don't know. Obviously, we have had eras where the top sprinters run 10.0, 10.1 as their openers. Like, that's a common thing. They do it down in Florida. They run 10.0 a couple times, and then a month and a half later, they start running their 9.8s and their 9.9s. I get that. That is a typical progression. But we're in a non-typical world. We're in a world where high schoolers are running incredibly fast, where sprinters are running 19.4s. We're seeing a different type of times early on in a season that is not typical from the past 10 years. Like, we're in a new era. And I feel like Coleman is still kind of running in the old era. He's running in the old era. Now, maybe the old era is fine and it'll work out, but he's running in an old era where you got to slow and steady, build yourself up. But in this new era, You have
Who's in the new
1949.
era?
You
I
have
mean, other than
19.
Knight, you're referencing Knighton in 3 different ways. You're saying we got high schoolers running fast. We have guys running 1949. That's the same person. You're basically
Okay, new
saying
era.
Arian Knighton exists. There's
New
not
era.
a
You have
crazy amount of
no
people. There's not a crazy
no
amount of people debuting that fast. I mean,
Bromell 9.7s. Coleman. I
right?
mean
That he's
Curley's
of the
running
era.
9.9s.
Yeah, those are guys who've been in the last era though too. Those aren't new
Yeah,
guys.
and they've learned to
Same
change
people.
their ways. I'm not talking about era as in the age
No,
of
I
the
think they're
athlete. I'm
fine.
talking about from the beginning of time to 2019. Sprinters generally opened up with 10.0s, 10.1s. But after the pandemic, something happened. People got a little wild. People got a little crazy. And now that doesn't cut it anymore. Coleman right
What is
now
your
has like the 50th best time in the world. The guy
what
who
does
you are
debut matter
anointing
here?
as the one of the main favorites to win, and he's opening. Curly's not running 10.09 right now. Romel's not doing it. Omanyala's not doing it. Lyles isn't doing it. All these people aren't doing it. I'm just saying.
Do you get a medal for your debut? Is that something that at the end of the year
You do.
award ceremony?
Yes, you do.
Who
I
cares?
ship one out. I have a shipping company. I have a bunch of medals. I send them out to all the athletes on their debuts, and Coleman's not getting one this year.
That would be amazing. Mr. May award. Just send it off to whoever had the best May, but you don't award it until September. You're like, oh wait, I forgot about that person.
Yeah, it's like the Barrymore.
Okay,
Yeah.
I disagree with most of what you said, but I agree
Fair.
with the point of I agree with the point of you might be concerned about Coleman. And the reason you might be concerned about Coleman, again, there's a ton of caveats here. Not that many people ran fast at that Tokyo meet. Now you could say, oh, the track. Well, it's not the track because they used that track for the Olympics and it was plenty fast. But maybe conditions or something like Benjamin didn't run fast, Norman didn't run that fast.
Said it was
Not as fast
cold.
as they wanted.
It said it was cold.
Was it? Okay. So yeah, which is fine. I think so. Where you would get concerned though is he didn't really ease up. Because when I saw the time before I saw the video, I'm thinking, oh, did he shut it down? He ran all the way through. Now maybe he just went through the gears and didn't get up to full speed. And that's fine. I'm not gonna base it when you fly halfway across the world and no one's really running fast on it. But if you were to nitpick, if you were to dig in, you'd look at that last 50 and say, okay, well, he didn't look like he was easing off, and he still didn't run that quickly. But again, that's nitpicking, and you're right. I mean, it is a debut. I don't know why we care that much about as long as he got the win. I think that's
Yeah, but I mean, congrats. He got the win in probably the easiest 100 he's going to run all year. So I don't really.
yeah, as it should be.
Yeah.
As it should
But
be.
we'll see.
Okay. So you're not going to give me a top 3 for the record.
No,
right
I'm
now?
on the fence.
Okay.
I'm 100% on the fence. I'll give you a top 3 one day. I'll give you a top 3 in like August.
Someone in the chat said, I don't know if we can pull this up, but they said that I want to give credit because this was a good stat. Where is it? Hold on. All in the game says, didn't he have the same reaction time as Isaiah Young? He's talking about Omanyala. I don't know if we have access to the.
Oh, there's actually like a stat. There's a
Reaction times.
reaction time in the results. Yeah. Again, I'm not. Whatever.
Let me see if I can find
You're going to clip my doubt in the beginning of the segment that everyone on the internet's going to be like, Gordon's an asshole, but whatever.
If plus 2.0.
Oh, Travis just said the reaction times are blank on results on the official meet site.
There you go. Oh, yep. I see it right now. Humidity with 56%, though. You get that stat. Boom. All right. It was quick. I mean, again, he got the best. He got out of the blocks better than anybody else. And you can just see that as plain as day. So it's not even about, well, I mean, I guess it would be if he false started, but it's tough to replicate that good of a start, even if he did make it, even if it was legal, right? But that race was, the interesting thing about that race, it was 3 races in one, because he gets out quick, then Curly comes back. At that point, I thought Curly was going to be fine, and then Omanyala counters, or at least holds him off. The middle portion of the race, it looked to be going towards Curly, and then Omanyala had enough. It was a very eventful 100. A lot of stuff happened in that 9 seconds.
The women's side, Fraser Price, 10:67. Third fastest time ever. See, this is her. This is Fraser Price living in the new era. You know, I was very surprised. I did not see this coming. I knew Fraser Price was still going to be a factor. Like, she's still going to make a world final. She's still going to be challenging for a medal. Maybe on a amazing day, wins it. But like, I was thinking that like this might be kind of a down year compared to like last year.
Mm-hmm.
But now she's kind of continuing last year. You run 10:67 in May. That makes me think that you're continuing your peak from last year and not going downwards, which is a good sign for the Jamaicans, because if Fraser Price is 10:67 right now, you throw in Elaine Thompson-Herah, Sharika Jackson, I think, ran 11 flat in Jamaica as well. The big three are back, and they're going to be hard to break up in the 100-meter final in Eugene.
Yeah. So, again, at altitude, so I don't want to, I mean, the times still count. So it still goes down as her third fastest, even though they put a big A by it. But
it's a headwind.
You're right, though. She looks just as good as last year for early season to do that. I'm with you. I thought, how can they possibly continue what they did last year as a historic season? And it never stopped. It was like fast in the preseason, fast in the Olympics and the build up to the Olympics. And then postseason, it got even faster with Thompson-Herah at Pre. They had that classic race in Lausanne when Fraser Price ran the 10.6. I didn't think they could do it again. And if it's anywhere close to last year, they don't even need a match last year. If they're anywhere close to last year, that would be an absolute treat for everybody. That would be amazing to see them again race each other multiple times and run that fast. That would be crazy. I thought last year was a one-off. I thought it was an aberration. But just, I mean, look at this race. She looks as good as ever. Again, even if you didn't know the time because of the altitude or whatever, but the start is there. Acceleration is fantastic. And in the back half of the race, she just doesn't show any sort of vulnerabilities at all.
She's 35 years old. She's 35 years old. This is insane. I don't think it's a little like, I'm like, it has like it's giving me like Legat vibes, or who was other like great late. I mean, Justin Gatlin was good in his 30s, but you're not supposed to be this fast at this age. Like, you're supposed to be going downwards, and the fact that she's staying high up at this age and extending her career is a once in a generation type performance. You're like, you don't see 35-year-olds run 10.67 in May with ease, chilling. You know, people are good in their early and late 20s, not in their mid 30s, and it's incredible. And I'm excited to see if she's able to keep it going for the next 2 months, and maybe even run faster. It's got to be the fastest time ever for a 35-year-old, right?
Yes, it does. I mean, Audie was fast late in her career, too. Someone in the chat brings that up. But being able to compete for gold still, it's not as if she's just in the mix.
Yeah, no.
She's making an argument for, hey, don't forget about me. And if Thompson-Herah wasn't spectacular, out of this world last year, the whole story would have been Fraser Price.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it would have been about, was Fraser Price. And she would have, because the times that she ran any other year would have been enough to just dominate the event. And we made last year in the women's 100, eventually it turned into all about Thompson-Herah, pretty much as it should have been towards the end because of what she did, not just in the 1, but in the 2. But Fraser Price was amazing. I mean, so this race, Mboma was supposed to push her. Mboma was more of a 200 runner. She's run sub 11, though. I mean, I don't think Mboma was going to beat her anyway because her start compared to Shelly Ann's start is just night and day. But Mboma pulls up, gets hurt, They said it was a groin injury, but it didn't look good, Gordon. Like some of these injuries, you can tell right away just by the way the athlete reacts. Like they feel something that's okay. This is just a momentary thing, or this is like a tweak versus this is going to cause some serious problems. And she was down on the track for a while. I saw a video that came out later of her like hugging her coach. So they're going to get more assessment. I mean, she was on crutches, and her coach said it was a groin injury. There's another video of Shelly Ann comforting her, telling her it's gonna be okay, you'll be all right, you'll be back by pre. But while she's talking to her, Mbama's laying down in a bed. So I don't know. That might give a little bit insight into her condition. We're throwing the video up now. Nice gesture by Fraser Price though to go tell her that. But Mbama this definitely looks at the moment to be a serious issue. But we'll wait and see on what the doctor says.
Yeah. This seems like it could be season ending. It has that vibe right now. And if that's true, that really sucks because,
Mhm.
well, it sucks and it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay because she's young and she still has a long career ahead of her. But it sucks that like every year in track and field is a precious year. You don't get many opportunities to be in your best physical peak. And
Mhm.
any year you miss is a whole percentage of your career of being in contention for a medal, winning a medal, putting down all-time marks. And to take that away from someone is taking that away from someone who's in contention
Mhm.
to put down great marks or win a medal. It's a big hit. So hopefully she recovers. We don't know, but it didn't look good. And the reaction with her laying on the bed or with the crutches, fact it's a groin injury. You need your groin to
Mhm.
run fast. I know that.
Mhm.
If you have a groin injury, you're not going to be able to get
Yeah.
good. You're just not going to be able to compete at the highest of level.
Mhm.
It's it's just it
And she
sucks. I hate
actually
that.
watching it back because you see the fall, but the fall I think happens just because she slows up and like her spike gets caught. So I don't know if she further injured it when she went down, but if she like pulls up and slows up and then she falls, so about 50, 60 meters she catches, but then it's almost like she's just trying to stay on her feet. Um, Again, not the situation you want to be in May. So hopefully by Wednesday or Friday we'll have an update. But she's a big part of the women's sprints right now. So we'll see. Let's move on to let's see what's next on the rundown here.
Abdi Nur,
Oh, college. We're going college. Your
college time.
guy. You've been a big Abdi nerd guy for a while. You
Yep.
started following Abdi basically when he got to NAU. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, he has a crazy story. If you watch, I forget what episode in NAU Running with the Boys, the
Mm.
documentary we did
What?
following this team in 2019, the one year that they actually lost the NCAA title in cross country. Ironic, right? We follow them.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Gordon.
The 1 year we choose to follow them is the year they lose. But whatever, they were a bunch of freshmen at the time. Abdi Hamanur was a redshirt freshman. And he has a crazy story about how he almost was going to quit running because
Mhm.
he wasn't academically eligible after like 2 straight years of trying. And eventually he's like, I can't do it anymore, coach. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Mhm.
Me running for NAU is not in my plan. And Mike Smith told him, no, you're going to do it. And he did it. And now 4 years later, he's breaking the collegiate record. And he's probably going to have a great post-college career. Is in line to have, I think he's setting himself up to run very well in his mid-20s and late 20s. And 13:06, that's a hard record to break. Henry Rono held it since 1978.
Yeah.
I feel like he probably had more in the tank, honestly. I feel like Abdi Hamid is going to probably run sub 13 in a year, if I had to guess. I think by end of 2023, he's going to run sub 13. But yeah, Abdi Hamid, hell of a story, hell of a run. And his teammate, Nico Young, runs 13:11, which is number 3 all time now, right ahead of Cooper Tier. I mean, that's crazy. Cooper Tier, when he ran 13:12, went on to get 4th at the trials. Nico Young now is running faster than that. You throw in Luis Grijalva from last year. Now NAU has the 1st, 3rd, and 5th times ever run in college in the 5K. 1st, 3rd, and 5th with Nur, Young, and Grijalva. Oh, and they also have 7th with Diego Estrada.
Different era. But look at that. Look at the all-time list.
Crazy.
Like Rono was the holdout there, but you look at all those other marks, they're all recent until you get down to 7 with Estrada. Got 2013, but then you have 2022, then Alistair Craig 2004, then Morgan Beadlescombe, then Justin Knight. It's like you got these like legends interspersed with recent guys on this all-time list. I mean, it's crazy to me that Ches is 16th. I know he didn't run a ton of time trials when he was in college. So this performance in and of itself didn't shock me based on what he's done recently, because we were talking beforehand. I said he'd be a trials threat. I know you were a little more cautious on throwing that out there. But if you had told me a year ago he was going to win 2 NCAA indoor titles and break the collegiate record, like if you had told me that, you, Gordon Mack, because you're the guy who goes and visits the school, and then afterwards, like, they have 9 guys who can break the American record. Which, I get it. I do it sometimes too. There's a proximity bias sometimes to this stuff. But if you had told me that, I'd have been like, this is crazy. Like that's too much. Even from even being like big on obviously what NAU is capable of. Like his rise is remarkable. And you can talk about all the records, don't mean anything, and the shoes and all that stuff. He's the best runner in the NCAA. With everybody everybody's got all that stuff now. Everybody has the opportunity to run fast. Now we all get that. And he went to indoors and didn't just barely. He kind of dominated both those races if you look at it. Like he definitely controlled both those races. Like they were, big kid moves from way far out on both of those. It wasn't a fluke by any means. So I'm in a state of still kind of surprised just over the last year of what he's been able to do. I also saw he graduated last week too, so a big week for him all around.
Yeah, and I did a episode on the NCAA track and field show talking about Bowerman projections. Now that he has a collegiate record to his name, like he is really set up to win the Bowerman, and he'll be the first distance athlete to win the Bowerman since Cam Levins in 2012. Because right now, Brandon Miller, Trey Cunningham, Randolph Ross, those are like the competition. And right now, I think Abdi could have 4 titles and a collegiate record that was held from 1978. It's a long-held collegiate record. It's going to be hard for Abdi Hamid to lose it. And you mentioned he is graduating, or he graduated. Even though he's still probably, I think he has like 2 more years of cross-country eligibility or something like that. It's something weird. I think he does. I think he has 2 more years of cross-country eligibility if he wanted to. Obviously, he's not going to use that. He would be the favorite to win cross next year, but I don't think he's going to be doing it. So Mike Smith, once again, he loses Grijalva who had an extra year. He's going to lose Abdi Hamid Nur. He lost Hobbs Kessler. He might now lose Colin Salmon if Colin goes on and runs incredible at Prefontaine. NAU, they get too good, and then they lose all their guys to not get them for 4 years.
All right. Want to go back to the track here in Tokyo. Training partners Michael Norman and Rai Benjamin both won comfortably. Benjamin goes 48.60 in the 400 hurdles. Norman goes 44.62. Which of those was more impressive to you?
Neither. Neither are more impressive to me. I mean, well, they're both like expected. The 48.6 from Rai Benjamin, I expected that. As I told you, I thought he was going to run in the 48s, and he successfully did what I expected there. But Rai Benjamin clearly is jogging, and he's just out there for the appearance fee. He wasn't trying to go crazy and run 47 or 46 seconds. And then as for Norman, he runs 44.6. But, like, that's not going to cut it to be top 3 in the U.S. Like his 44.6 now. We look at top times in the U.S. Best by athlete. Cherry's run 44.2. Curly's run 44.4, but Curly won't be in there. Norwood's run 44.5. Norman's run 44.6. Randolph Frost, I think, has run 44.6 indoors. There's a Iowa freshman who's run 44.7. Bryce Dedman's run 44.8. Tyler Johnson's run 44.9. So there are already 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 to 6 to 7 guys who are running 44s. So it doesn't really stand out to me.
No, it doesn't stand out. But those guys are in the middle of the season. They're not flying halfway across the country or across the world, excuse me. And they have competition. I thought, just you give me the 2 times, it's like Norman's was better based on where he's been.
Well, yes.
But then you watch the post-race interview. Norman says he's really disappointed. He was super hard on himself after that race. I looked it up. He only ran 0.3 slower than he did on that same track in the 400 final at the Olympics when he missed the medals. Now, he did not like that race either. But for May, I thought there was a lot of positives to take from it. But just the way he was reacting to it, I wanted to be like, yo, you got the win.
Well, maybe he thought he was going to. Well, he wasn't trying to get the win. Stop talking about the win at this meet. A win at this meet is like me getting a win at the meet. It's like, okay, come on.
There's a limit to how fast you can go when you're at that level and no one is near you. And I thought sub 40, as I talked about, over under 45, on 44.6, I thought was good. So I'm a bit confused now. I'm kind of conflicted. And then I would just be inclined to say, well, I guess Benjamin had it. And the commentators mentioned this post-race. Like 400 hurdles, you can just change your stride pattern and it totally impacts the limit to how fast you can go. And I don't know, I didn't see anything afterwards about if Benjamin, I didn't go back and count his steps, but there's a possibility he just was pretty conservative with what he was going after. So while it looked like he was running hard, he obviously has a whole other level that he can go to. So just based on time, I would go Norman, but in terms of their impressions based on the race, I would say Benjamin.
I'm guessing Norman probably thought based off of his training, based off of his running a good 200, because he ran 19.8, it's good 200. He probably thought he was going to run 44 low. I bet he was I think he was probably looking for a 44, 1, 2, or 3. And the fact that he got 44.6, he wanted to be on the south side of 44.5. And I think
I'm sure he did.
What happened.
But that's not the place to do it. That's my
obviously you got to do it later in the year when it counts most.
No. I'm not talking about timing. I'm just talking about location. Being on that long of a flight and then not having anybody to push you makes it difficult. That puts a ceiling on just how fast you can go. I mean, when he ran 43.45 at Mount Sac, he ran it in LA where he lives, and Ry Benjamin was in the race. That's how that worked. I thought it was. I watched it. I thought, this is good. This is a good sign for him, based on where he's been the last couple of years. But he was disappointed, and it surprised me because it is so early. All right, what's next? Oh, let's see. Oh, Kipsang. You want to talk about altitude conversions? This might be your favorite altitude. You're a big altitude conversion guy. So Abel Kipsang runs 3:31. Well, because the NCAA stuff. I think it's funny. It's like flat track.
I did the conversion. I did the official
at 9,000 feet. Yeah, 3:25. Abel Kipsang ran 3:25.
I mean, he did.
Listen,
you run 3:31 at 5,800 feet. That's like running 3:25. That's 6 seconds.
I think the more relevant stat is it's the second fastest time at altitude. What they consider.
And I think the conversion of 3:31 to 3:25 reflects that. It makes sense. That would be the second fastest time ever. That's why the conversion is so great. Because people don't run 3:31 at altitude.
Yeah, but that's not the best 1500 we've ever seen. It was a great race, and he tore away from everybody and closed faster. I just think there's a limitation to what those things actually mean. I talked about him with Pre though when we did our storyline draft. I think I got him late.
You might
Yeah,
win.
not laughing now, are you? You're not laughing now about my late round Abel Kip saying. I think I packaged him with Tefera too. It's just guys who have
I
been in
don't
the
think you
mix.
didn't draft him. What are you talking about? I
Yeah,
don't bring back the
play the
tapes. You
tape.
did not draft him.
Play the tape.
What was your
I had
storyline about him?
the other guys basically. It was a Will Smith homage. It was him and Tefera because I
Okay.
said Kip sang fourth at the Olympics. Tefera upset Ingebrigtsen. Nobody's
Talking
talking
about him.
about these guys, even though they have the credentials. I mean, this was pretty ridiculous. If you look at the last lap, just how he pulled away from everybody and he was already in command and then just totally put his foot on the gas. It reminded me of a Chariot or Ingebrigtsen type race. Now, does he have enough to close that gap? Not sure, but this is the guy. Remember, he broke the. I know Olympic records in distance races are not the most important thing, but remember he broke the Olympic record in the semi in Tokyo. He ran 3:31 in the freaking semi, and then came back and ran 3:29 and got fourth in the final. I think the men's
I'm going
15
to say right now.
men's 15 is good this year. It's an exciting race.
I think Abel kept saying will win gold.
Okay. Wow. That contradicts your Jakob will never lose for the next 8 years pick. How are you reconciling those two?
Well, Jakob's only going to do the 5K.
Great dodge. Terrific dodge by you.
See,
It is interesting.
Ways. This is fast. I think we're underestimating how fast this is. This is very fast.
You're not. You're saying it's a 335. You're definitely not overestimating it.
He's young. He has championship experience. He got fourth. He's learning 331 at altitude. He's going to show up and he's going to be able to hang with Chariot. He's going to be able to hang with Ingebrigtsen and Chariot when they go out hard and when it's a 327 race, whereas the rest of the field's not going to be able to do it. He's going to be in the mix, and you never know what's going to happen. He's going to be within a meter of gold with 100 meters to go.
Let's play this game. I want you to be held accountable for something on this show other than a crazy prediction about Abel Kipsang. I'm going to list people's names in the 1500. I want you to tell me if they can win gold this year. Ready?
Okay.
Can. Not will. Can they? Just like, do they have not even a decent shot, but do they have a shot? So we'll start with
more than what percent? More than what? What's the definition of can? Because anything can happen. I could win gold if there was a plague.
5.
Right?
Don't say that.
5%.
Don't say that.
You need 5% chance.
Jakob.
Yes.
Chariot.
Yes.
Tefera.
Yes.
Abel Kipsang.
Yes.
Josh Kerr.
Yes. No.
Cole Hawker.
Stopped you. No.
Oliver Hoare.
No. That's it. That's my list.
5? You have 5? Cooper Tier. Ooh.
Ask me in a month. Ask me in a month.
A little hesitation there.
Ask me in a month. This isn't on a rundown, but he got the world standard by himself in the rain. Well, it's 334.
Hawker paced him. He wasn't really by himself.
Well, by yourself after the fact. It's in the rain still.
For 300 meters. I'd rather have somebody with me.
Okay.
For 1,200.
Well, if you only watch the last 300 meters of the clip, it looks like he ran the whole thing by himself, which is what I did. So, sorry. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched the last 300
So you think
meters.
5? The number is 5.
Yes.
Well, Centro.
No.
Okay.
No
so
Americans.
The 5 are Kipsang, Tefera, and then the 3 medalists. You think it's down to 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do want. We don't have Travis on the pod anymore, so I do want to talk a little bit about Cooper Tier. Cooper Tier running 334.
We're not allowed to talk about Cooper Tier when Travis is on.
No, well, we're just going off the rails now. I think Cooper should go all in on the 15. I think he's not going to. He's definitely going to still try to make the 5K team.
Right.
But I just think that don't put a 5K under your legs on that Thursday night. Go in fresh for the 15.
Yeah.
No one, there's 3 guys are not beating Cooper Tier in a 1500.
Not right now. They're not.
Yeah. Like, I don't even think Cole Hawker can beat Cooper Tier in a 1500. And Cole Hawker is the favorite. Like, and if the favorite, I'm like, I don't know. If I'm like, I don't know about the favorite beating you, that means there's no way there's going to be 3 people doing it. And you're young. Make your team. Make your first team. Don't get cute. Don't be weird. Don't just make your team. You got to make the team. Get that monkey off your back. Not really as a monkey, but rip that Band-Aid off. Make your first team. Who cares if it's in an event that you know you're not going to do well in it at the end of the day? But like, just make your first team, and the momentum will carry. So I think Cooper Tier should run just.
What's to say he won't? Yeah, you're saying you won't do well once you get there, but if he made it in the 5, it'd be tough to medal in that one too.
Yeah.
There's always question marks in the men's 15. Always, because there's always standard issues, and there's always people debuting late. This year, there's 10 times the amount of questions, and they're all much bigger. Who are you confident about right now in the U.S. 1500 for the men? It's like
Cooper
those
Tier.
2.
And Cole.
And Hawker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hawker. Like I'm not gonna panic on Hawker.
Yeah.
He loses to his teammate who could be the best guy. But then sometimes he beats his teammate. So, and he was the best guy last year. But that's it. It's a very short list. And we're inside of 2 months to go. Well inside 2 months to go before USA's. I think that thing is completely open.
I could think Abdihamid Nur could find a way to get 3rd in the 1500.
Here we go.
He could. He's on 336. I think Morgan Beetlescum could find a way to get 3rd in a 1500. Yeah. Like, I think a college kid will actually get 3rd in a 1500. And I think that college kid might not even be Nagoose. Like, Nagoose hasn't impressed me yet. He ran 339 in that sound running.
Especially if well, so if Cooper Tier doesn't run it, there's definitely going to be at least one complete wild card that gets in.
Yeah.
If Tier does run it, you could see Tier Hawker and then somebody who makes it who's either a vet who's been around and just has a great race, or it's someone who's big on the NCAA side of things. But no, yeah. I think you're right. I think you're right on what he should run, because you obviously have to take training into account. It's the most important thing, but you got to look at what's the easiest path to make the team. And there's nothing wrong with taking the easy, because on the flip side of that,
he's going to do both. He's going to trust his fitness and be like, I can run a 5,000. It's fine, and be fine for a 15 prelim and final, which is true, because you run the prelim for the 15. He's going to have a day off between the prelim and the 15 and the final of the 15. So you do the 5K, you make the team, and then everything's smooth. You miss a team, then you have all that adrenaline to get through the prelim, and then you're focused on 1 day rest to get for the 15 final. So
sure,
I think he's just going to do both. That's what's going to happen.
All right, other news. Alec Wilson, Nia Akins both went well under 2 at Sound Running Meet. Emily Sisson broke the American record in the half. That was not that old. Sarah Hall said it earlier this year. And then they did the USATF multi-event championships. Anna Hall and Garrett Scantling, the winners. Scantling went 88.67, puts him number 7 all-time. Big-time performance from him. So remember, they were doing the 10,000 early and the multi-events early, so there's already been those 3 men and 3 women selected.
There were notable women who didn't make the U.S. team. Kendall Williams and Erica Bogard, 2 women who have made many heptathlon teams and pentathlon teams. One DNF'd and the other scratched, just was finished dead last. So it's kind of a changing of the guard a bit potentially here in the women's heptathlon. And Anna Hall, she ran a 2:03 in the 800 of her heptathlon. She ran a 2:03. It's insane. And like, it's just, man, I wish there was a way for the heptathlon events to not interfere with like other NCAA track events where she could just be
Mm-hmm.
a human point machine and not be preoccupied with just heptathlon because she can make a final in the she can win the 400 hurdles. She can make a final in the 800. She could probably make a final in 2 field events. It's insane. Anna
Well,
Hall, she's like she's slowly becoming the female Ashton.
if you had a similar situation like they're doing for USA's and NCAA's where they had the competition ahead of time, like they do for the conference meets, and then they could double back, it'd be interesting. You're right, to see what she could rack up. She could do that now for USA's though. That might be fun,
Yeah,
just to see what she can finish in open events at USA's. But Scantling, that's a big number for him too. You look at the names ahead of him on the list. That's big time.
yeah. Scanlon, he's in college as well, right? He's at Georgia,
Yeah.
or no?
So then you got
Yeah.
no, he's not in college anymore.
Oh, he's not. He went to Georgia though.
Garland made the team,
Garland,
and
and he made a team. Yeah,
yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
So I'll read the team so people know. So we have Anna Hall, Ashton Mailer, and Michelle Atherley for the HEP, and then the decathlon was Scantling, 88.67, Kyle Garland, and Zach Zemek. So yeah, 2 collegians making the team, actively in college. Glad the schedule was able to work out for them because that could have been tricky. Tougher for the 10K.
Yep.
For those collegians who want to make the 10K. Someone like Nur, it's a tough spot to be in. All right. Sisson American record. I think the half and the full are just going to continue to tumble down. So it's not surprising. She had a scratch New York, right? Yeah,
She
scratched New
scratched
York.
one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good sign. Good sign for her. Obviously, want to see her in full health for a marathon. It could be great. All right, kick of the week. We're bringing it back. We're putting it on this show. I'm excited about this, Gordon. You used to do kick of the week videos. A lot of nostalgia here. We're gonna go to Nairobi in this men's 800. This was a incredible race because it had something. It had a great kick. Emmanuel Wanyoni, just 17 years old, runs 145. You can do the altitude conversion on that. It's incredible. So what made this kick unique, though, and this race unique, we're throwing the video up right now. That's the first rabbit in here. And I say first because there's actually a second rabbit. And I don't know if anybody knew that the second rabbit was actually a rabbit because that's a legit guy up there, right? That's was that Kiprutu, who World Indoor Games competitor, has run really fast. And when Yoni just blows by him and then he just steps off the track. I mean, completely bizarre race here, but you see the close, just 17 years old. We're going to get a close up here of that last interaction. This was weird. Pull that video back up. Fast forward it. You'll go to that second section. It was a look at this. Kiprutu's telling him to go on the inside because he's like, I'm stepping off the track. First of all, you have a rabbit that goes, if he is a rabbit, 650 meters. But he goes wide. He goes around him and then cuts back onto the inside. I don't know if they didn't tell anybody, if it wasn't planned, or what. But then Kiprutu jogs off. Again, Collins Kiprutu is a legit guy, so I can understand why people might be confused. Hey, are you rabbiting? Are you not rabbiting? He's run 143 before. Have you seen anything like that?
I have not. Also, 2 rabbits in an 800 seems excessive.
Weird, right? Weird.
Like,
great close though for
yeah,
Wanyoni.
it seems a little weird.
Hell of a
Like,
close.
right.
He thought he was out kicking.
For most rabbits in an 800? We're gonna have one take you through 750 meters.
I don't know. It was bizarre. It was bizarre watching, because then you're like watching it back, and then I saw the screenshot that we had up, and it's of that interaction where he's going on the inside. But then you're like, wait a minute, that was with 150 to go. and Kipruto's trying to help him out. He's like putting on his blinker. He's like, "You go here, I'll go there." Nope, went the other direction. Good finish though.
Good finish.
For this week's kick of the week. If people have submissions for kick of the week, maybe at your local meet, right? You have multiple rabbits. Send a video in. Maybe you outkicked your friend and you got it on video. FloTrackPodcast@gmail.com. Send it in. And you might be included in the segment. Emmanuel Wanyoni, our first recipient of Kick of the Week in its new showcase spot here on the FloTrack podcast.
So when we were trying to figure out who's going to be Kick of the Week this week, I had another nominee, but you decided to prioritize actual running for the Kick of the Week, because I think the true Kick of the Week was actually done by a bunch of horses. Did you watch the Kentucky Derby?
A bunch of horses. One horse.
One horse, yeah. Well, there was a bunch of horses on the track.
Rich Strike.
But Rich Strike, great name. 80-1 odds had, I think, the Kick of the Week, but also had the what would happen if this would happen in track and field moment, right? If this were track, this Kentucky Derby would blow track and field fans' minds. So basically, there's a YouTube video. Are we not going to show the YouTube video that I put in there? Or you take that out for a reason? Use the YouTube video that's linked here. There's a good view. You see it, Colt? Above the, yeah. No, that's not, you're using up a Yahoo link. Yeah. Yeah, use that. So it's a great angle. It's like an aerial angle, and you get to see how far back Rich Strike was for this win. Again, he was 80-1 odds, and he is basically surrounded by the pack. You see like 12 horses all around him. There's no way he's going to be able to get through that barrier of horses in the final 200. I don't know how far they're going, like 400 meters left to go here, because they're going at horse pace, which is a lot faster than human pace. But he goes on the inside. But when he's on the inside, there's another horse in lane 1. He's like, oh, I'll just go to lane 2 and then back into lane 1. Like it's very great tactical horse running for the horse. And I like to think of horse racing. Sorry, horse galloping. I would like to know what you think this would have been like if this happened in track and field.
Well, yeah, you think about the great comebacks recently. So Kendall Ellis, USC, coming back, beating Purdue on the last stride. That was a good one. I saw someone in the chat mention Dave Waddle in the Olympics in the 800. That was one I thought of too, where he just runs his own pace and then runs everybody down. I fixated on the odds though, Gordon. This is what I fixed on, because it was 80-1. 80-1. So I wondered, okay, if this was track, what would it look like for an 80-1 long shot to win? Now, we don't have current odds. I couldn't bring up the Nairobi Continental Tour and get odds, but I could get odds from the Olympics. Now, these odds were set that were before the Olympics, so we can now have the benefit of hindsight and look back and just see how crazy that was. So 80-1 is basically plus 8,000. So plus 8,000. So let's pull up some of these odds and let's see who is a plus 8,000. Who would have been the Rich Strike of the Tokyo Olympics in the in the men's 100 and the men's 200. So is that the 100 that we got up there? That's the 100. So you scroll through these 100 ones, and it's hard to find. So one thing you notice right off the bat is, in general, it's hard to find plus 8,000. It is very hard to find that in track and field, because most of the stuff just eventually goes to you're picking the entire field. So Rommel plus 110, Baker plus 350, Akani Simbine plus 700, Curley 900, DeGrasse 1,000. You're thinking, all right, well, man, Marcel Jacobs, that guy came out of nowhere. You know what he was, Gordon? He was only plus 2,000. I looked at another site. I was like, maybe that was off. The other one had him at plus 2,500. Rich Strike was 8,000 plus 8,000. So then I looked at the 200. Do we have anything in 200? And there, we still don't have it. Because the highest odds there, Ramil Guliev and Isaac Mokwala plus 6,600. Men's 400. Emmanuel Career, your guy, who you probably would have picked. You probably would have taken a flyer on Career in the 400. You know what he is? Plus 4,000. And then I finally found one. It's not exactly plus 8,000, but it's higher than that. Men's 4-meter hurdle, David Kidzira, the U.S., plus 12,500. Yasmani Capello in that same race, plus 6,600. So somewhere between Capello and Kidzira. Can you imagine the level of upset that would need to take place for Warholm not to win, for Benjamin not to win, for Dos Santos not to win, for Samba not to win, for McMaster not to win? I mean, it really puts in perspective. I know the betting systems are a little bit different, obviously, but nobody believed in this horse, Gordon, is what I'm saying. Here we go. I found one. Netherlands, men's 4x4, plus 8,000. There it is. They're your Rich Strike of track and field, but they didn't win.
I mean, there was potential. I mean, again, it's winning. So if Christine and Boma would have won, that would have maybe been an 80-1 type odds of winning because Christine and Boma was just like a complete unknown.
Yeah.
But people, it's not, I mean, you could maybe, was Molly Seidel 80-1 odds to medal? She probably was 80-1 to medal. But again, we're talking 80-1 to win. Winning is very different from medaling.
Well,
that's
exactly. Well, because Netherlands, the team I just mentioned, got silver. But there's a whole bit of difference between them getting silver and them beating the U.S. team.
Yeah.
Because it's tough. And in the chat, David brings up a good point. Horse racing odds are set by the betting. Track odds are set by the bookies. Yeah, I know it's not exactly the exact same thing. But I just thought it was interesting to look at how much money those people made if they bet on them versus how much money, what you would have to risk, who you would have to believe in.
You know how they say, like, if Wade Van Niekerk can break the world record in lane 9 and Rich Strike can win the Kentucky Derby at 80-1, that means I can dunk a basketball by December of 2022. I feel like
I would. 2022.
I think it shows that anything is possible. If an 80-1 odd horse can win Kentucky Derby, you can. It's gonna be, every time I say I can't do it, I'm gonna be like, well, Rich Strike won the Kentucky Derby, and Wade Van Niekerk broke the world record in the outside lane. So I'm gonna use those two as my motivational things in my life.
I wish we could get odds of that. Public odds of you dunking. I wonder what it is.
Public odds?
The moment your clavicle shattered, do people buy the dip at that point, or are people just like, nope?
I recently
adjusted for that for sure. Live odds adjusted.
I think I made a this weekend. I was drinking with some friends, and I told the friend that I'm gonna dunk a basketball by the end of the year. And he says, "No, you're not." And I was like, "Yeah, I am." He's like, "You want to bet $500?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Oh gosh.
So I have $500 on me dunking.
Oh no.
Oh gosh, Gordon.
Well, if I don't think I can do it, then what's the point of doing it?
Do I know this person?
You know this person's brother. It's a coworker's brother.
Curious.
It's a coworker's brother. Jeremy's brother.
Okay. You can believe in yourself without risking $500.
Yeah, but now it's more fun. Now I know, like, I better train.
But see, now I want to get on the action, but you're my co-host, and I don't want there to be a rift between us.
Oh, you want to bet that I won't do it?
Odds?
I'll give you those odds. You want to make the same bet?
Yeah, I mean,
would you want to make that bet with me?
After I'd have to go through all the. No, I'm not going to do that. That's bad karma. That's bad karma because I got my own goals this year that I'm trying to achieve. I don't want to bet against you, especially because someone's already done it.
Well, that means you believe in me. That's what it means. It means you believe in me because you're kind of like, he might get it. I don't trust that he'll fail. So I appreciate your confidence in me, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Let's go to the chat here. Thomas says Rich Strike wasn't even in the race till Friday afternoon as a replacement. So that kind of reminds me of 08 men's Olympic trials. Christian Smith, one of the last guys in, but it makes the team. He didn't win the race, but crazy come from behind. David says Billy Mills was the Rich Strike of Olympic track history. Yeah, I mean the comeback too. That would work. David says dunk. We have 60-year-old Merlene Ottey kicking your ass in the 100. Yeah, that's a chat that started mid-show. People were taking bets on whether or not you could beat Merlene Ottey right now in 100.
I could not.
So maybe.
No.
Okay.
I do not have speed. That is gone. I agree with that.
Says I'll give odds for Gordon on an 8-foot rim. Gordon can definitely dunk on an 8-foot rim because I can dunk on an 8-foot rim because my son's been playing on 8-foot rim. 8-foot rims.
Speaking of 8-foot,
manageable.
Speaking of 8-foot rims.
Let me get through these.
No. But I was thinking about 8-foot rims.
Okay, go ahead.
I was telling my brother on FaceTime this weekend about me trying to dunk. He didn't know about this. He's like, I can dunk. And I was like, no, you can't. He's like, watch me. He walked outside to his driveway, put the phone down, and he dunked a basketball. And it was definitely an 8-foot rim because I was like, there's no way my brother can dunk. He made it look too easy. So, yeah.
Wait.
Dunking
how tall is your brother?
It's like 6 foot.
Yeah.
I was like, wait.
This is not a newsflash to anybody, but 8 and 10, two different heights.
I know, but the camera angle was far away. Like he put it like at the edge of the driveway. So like it looked like, wait, did he just dunk? And I was like, oh, no, he has kids. That's a fake rim. I was like, it's a fake rim.
Early on, I was gonna send one, like when you were doing your dunk attempt, I was gonna send one to you and Gordon, because I told you my neighbor's got an awesome adjustable hoop. I was gonna like throw one off the glass and dunk, but I'd do it from real far away and send it to you and Colt and be like, I don't know what the big deal is. So my son's always asking me to dunk, like he doesn't realize it's difficult. They want to know how tall you are.
6'3".
6 foot. Yeah, you're taller than 6 foot. You're not 6'3". No,
I'm 1,000% 6'3". You mean stop? That's how tall I am. You want to measure me? You want to come over and get a tape measure?
Does Gordon look like he's 6'3"?
It's hard. You got hard to tell. Though. I believe him though. I believe Gordon.
Stand up.
Yeah, you got to stand by the door frame. Stand by the door frame.
Yeah, stand by the. Yeah, get a pencil.
Where's the door? This door.
Yeah.
Sick pre-poster there.
I can't hear it.
Can you touch your ceiling right now? Try to touch your ceiling.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he almost fell. Oh, no. Gordon went down.
Oh, yeah, he's tall. Yeah, Gordon's tall. Yeah. Okay. I believe 6'3".
I always thought 6'2". I'm 6 foot.
6 foot. 6'3".
Touch the roof. Touch the ceiling. Show people your hops. Touch the ceiling. All right, Gordon.
Can you hear me? I cramped my hamstring by getting up too quickly.
Yeah, no, we got a great video of that. I need to get Travis to clip that. That really screams dunker.
Oh, God. I really hurt myself. Oh, God.
Tampa Eagle says, Gordon, take your meds. Okay, people want to know how tall you are. David says, is Gordon's dunk 1-leg or 2-leg takeoff? Gordon's high jump PR.
My takeoff will be whatever gets me higher. I don't care if it's 1 or 2. Whatever gets me higher.
Okay.
I don't have a high jump PR. I do know, though, since I broke my collarbone now 5 weeks ago, I start training again today. Light training for a week, and then back to full training next week.
That's why exciting. You got a little bit of a pep in your step. Mm-hmm. Listen, I'd work on the hamstring cramps, though, first. Make sure those guys are ready to go.
I feel like Kyle Lowry right now.
I mean, you understand the odds are against you, right? But that's fine.
I just don't think they are.
I think they would be right now. I think they would be.
They are.
They'd be against you. But you got time. As you mentioned, just December 31st. You don't need to accomplish the New Year's resolution in February.
Exactly.
Although I will say this, we are in a new world now, Gordon, where people are running 9.7s. High schools are running 1949.
Yeah, exactly.
35-year-olds who are out of shape and 6'3" are dunking. Like, you got to do it to keep up with the Joneses.
I think that's what I'm telling you. I believe myself.
David's saying Gordon plus 125.
Oh, I like that. Those are good odds. I appreciate that. Plus
If he's
125.
6'3", he has a chance. Well, they haven't seen the videos of you. I don't think a lot of these folks saw the early season attempts.
There was only one attempt, and it was in January, and it was
It was
pre-working out.
public.
It was pre-working out.
Didn't I see one that never got posted though?
No, I think we showed it on the pod. We don't need to re-show it, but we showed it on the pod. No,
Let's
it was
pull that up, Colt. Let's show
done
that
in
here on the
January,
pod,
and it was
please.
before I did
Searching.
an ounce of working out. Before I did an ounce of working out. So I will, yeah, you can't find it. We'll wait till we're gonna get a new update. I'm gonna do a second dunk attempt probably mid-June, and then we'll go.
You
from
should have
there.
said you were 5'10". You should have said, because now people are really like, well, why can't you do it? He's 6'3". Well, they're just saying there's no reason not to. You're 6'3". It just puts more pressure on you.
The reason not to is you're 35 and old and haven't done like fast twitch explosive training in 12
PB?
years.
48.7. 48. There you go.
48.7. But I did that at age 22, 12 years ago. So probably to this day. It was in May of my senior year.
Anniversary? You want to do an anniversary?
Actually, no, it was in April. It was in April of my senior year. Anyway.
Did you ever dunk in your early 20s? David wants to know.
No.
He's never dunked.
I didn't try.
That's why he won.
I didn't try. I wasn't like playing pickup basketball in college. So didn't try.
Meanwhile, I'm just over here trying to get my bench up. That's all my focus is. I chose a much more attainable goal. This is not good.
Is that the pod?
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, you got hurt. You're averaging several injuries per pod now. This is not good. Thanks to Colt. Thanks to Travis. Again, you can reach out to us, guess my PR, and also coaching advice if you want Gordon to weigh in on what you should be doing, which I don't know why you wouldn't after this point. Reach out. We'll talk to you guys on Wednesday. Have a